I want to know your thoughts below. What did you think of the new Candyman movie? Did you think it was a boring, uninspired, dull piece of shit like I did? Or did you love it and you can't wait to buy the Blu-ray and watch it over and over and over again? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Justin here, guys. As always, thank you for stopping by and clicking on today's video. If this is your first time here, I appreciate you taking a chance on the channel. We're going to be talking about Candyman today. If you are new here, go check out some of my other videos, guys. I've been doing a lot of reviews. I've been going to Spirit Halloween. On this channel, we talk about toys, collectibles, horror movies. I do reviews. We talk about physical media, all kinds of that kind of stuff. So definitely have a look at my other videos. Today we're here to talk about Candyman, and to be honest with you, this was a movie I had no intention on reviewing or talking about on this channel. I actually ended up seeing this movie on accident, by accident. Well, quite frankly, the trailer didn't do much for me. I wasn't interested in this movie. I like the original movie. It's okay. In my personal opinion, I think it's a little overhyped. I think it's more well respected for its performance from Tony Todd and the performances and the general dreamlike quality and the subject matter in the movie Candyman. I think the respect for the movie sort of exceeds its quality in my personal opinion. I think if it weren't for Tony Todd's just presence and his chemistry with Virginia Madsen and their love story, I'm not quite sure if Candyman would be the success that it is or the cult classic that it is, but it has an original story to tell, especially at the time. We hadn't seen a character like Candyman, especially having a black lead. The movie is iconic for a lot of reasons, although I think it's a flawed movie. But for everything that makes Candyman special, the original Candyman, whether it be the performances, the dreamlike quality, the impact of the injustices spoke about in the themes of the original Candyman movie, the new Candyman has none of that. Guys, I did not care for this new Candyman movie whatsoever at all. I found it to be sort of cheap, uninspired, cliche, incredibly boring, and really poorly acted. I think a lot of the aspects of this movie were just completely forgettable. I don't think we'll be talking about this movie as a classic anytime soon. Like I said, I didn't intend to see Candyman tonight, but the movie I went to my local independent theater to see was canceled. The showing of Glenn Danzig's new movie, what is it called? Glenn Danzig's Death Rider in the House of Vampires, I think that's what it's called, is right here. You guys know Glenn Danzig from the Misfits and also the amazingly so bad it's good Veronica. Well, he has a new movie. Somehow somebody gave him more money to make another movie, and he made a vampire movie starring Eli Roth. I think that's Eli Roth in the trailer, and Devon Sawa of all people. I was beyond excited to see this new Glenn Danzig movie. I got to my theater. For whatever reason, the screening was canceled. I will be seeing that. They said they're going to reschedule it this week, so that review will be out this week, as well as some other fun Spirit Halloween vlogs and other movie reviews. I got a lot of fun stuff coming up this week. So, long story short, I thought, what the hell? Candyman was playing at 7 p.m., the exact same time this one was. So I begrudgingly groaned and moaned my way to my seat to sit down and watch Candyman. I don't know about you guys, but I can usually tell by watching a trailer or just my general gut feeling if I'm going to like a movie. Sometimes I'm surprised, but more often than not, I know myself very well, and my instincts telling me to stay away from this movie were correct. Candyman 2021 is an uninspired, poorly acted, boring, uninteresting, cliche letdown of a movie, kind of how I thought it was going to be. Now, I'll start out with the one positive that I have about this movie. I have one positive, and sort of like a cousin to the positive. There's two good scenes of graphic violence and one sort of gross out scene that stood out, and that's about it. There's a cool gore scene at the beginning of the movie. The first kill in the movie is a great throat slash kill. It's a good practical effect with lots of blood. It's awesome. Up until then, the movie was incredibly boring. This movie has a runtime of barely an hour and a half, and I wanted to leave about halfway through the movie. I was so bored. But the first kill is great. There's a couple other decent kills. That's definitely the bloodiest part of the movie, is right at the beginning. It's almost like the director said, hey, let's just give them their kill at the beginning of the movie so I can write all this dialogue that I think is interesting, but really will probably bore everybody to tears when they watch this movie. There's another kill with this cool pan out of an apartment complex as this person is killed and smeared across their big picture window as the camera pans out in the city, and you can see this one apartment, and you can't see Candyman. You can just, he's like a invisible. He lifts her up and she slides across the window. That kill was really cool. Let me get into the story and then we'll talk about the one other cool standout kill and the one standout performance in this movie. You had 3 writers on this movie, Jordan Peele, Nia DaCosta, and another writer, and decades to come up with an interesting story. And the best thing that they could think to do is to have a struggling artist who just can't seem to be inspired to paint something that his clients want to see, that people want to buy, and ultimately dark forces overtake him to inspire him to make cool artwork. We've seen it in Devil's Candy. I've seen it in Bliss. Both done better in both of those movies. God, it's just a tired story. Anthony plays an artist. His girlfriend, Brianna, I believe is her name, are the 2 main people in the movie. She's an art curator. He's the artist who is struggling to come up with inspiration. And then you have a couple boring ass side cliche characters. His dickhead, like talented manager, or another art curator for some sort of gallery. And then you have Brianna, the wife or girlfriend's brother, gay couple. They have to be the most stereotypical, unfunny, just cliched gay couple of all time. It just was so cringe. They didn't have to write those characters like that. Those 2 characters did not deserve to be written like that. It was like an SNL skit. It was just fucking ridiculous. To get inspired, Anthony starts going down this rabbit hole and finding out all about the history of Cabrini Green, Virginia Madsen's story from the first movie, and they dive into basically all of the lore and legends of the first movie. Candyman's name ends up getting said, and ultimately Anthony ends up getting turned into the new Candyman. We find out that he is actually the baby that was stolen in the original Candyman movie. The legend in this movie is that everybody thought Virginia Madsen was this crazy bitch who was murdering everybody, but really it was the Candyman, and they sort of go through that whole deal. But all of the charm and the romance and the dreamlike quality and the chemistry between Tony Todd and Virginia Madsen that made that movie so special, this movie has none of that. First of all, the performances are not good enough to convince anybody to care about anything in this movie at all. The lead character and the guy who owns the laundromat in the movie are standout awful performances. Their performances are horrible. The lead character is just simply not a great, strong performer, and the laundromat guy gives the most over performance I've ever seen. He overacts more than I've seen an actor overact in a long time. There's a couple scenes towards the end of the movie where they do a close-up on his face and he's just like it's like an old Jim Carrey skit from In Living Color or something. It was like people were literally laughing in the theater because it was so absurd. I can't believe they left those takes in the movie. I wanted to leave halfway through the movie so bad. Ultimately, what you end up finding out is that there's a bunch of Candyman. It's a hive of Candyman. There's been a bunch of black men throughout hundreds of years that have been killed and taken down by injustice, and Anthony ends up meeting that fate. The guy from the laundromat ends up turning out to be a guy trying to make him the next Candyman, find the next Candyman. He sets him up basically to get killed. At the beginning of the movie, Anthony gets bit by a bee, and this was kind of a cool, gross out thing. I'll give it credit for. He gets bit by a bee, and slowly throughout the movie, his arm gets more and more infected and putrid and rots, basically is rotting away. And there's a scene when he pulls some skin off. It's a pretty gross out scene that was kind of cool. Also, if you are affected by trypophobia, if you guys are not familiar with trypophobia, I am extremely sensitive to trypophobia. It's a feeling, an odd feeling of a bunch of basically holes, uneven holes placed together. I'll put a couple images up here. It's gonna fucking, I'm literally getting goosebumps and chills thinking about it. Maybe I'll be able to put up pictures. I don't know if I'll be able to fucking look at them, but his whole half of his body, if you are sensitive to holes and trypophobia, turns into this honeycomb. I had to turn away. It's grossing me out as I talk about it. There's something worse than a movie being bad, and that's boring. And that's what this movie is. Just a boring, blah city, boring movie. We do get an appearance from a de-aged Tony Todd at the end, which was awesome. And literally, he breathed life into the last few seconds of the movie. There was a cool scene where a swarm of bees sort of carries him, which was really, really cool. And for those few moments that Tony Todd's voice, his voiceover was in the movie, I was like, now this is cool. You should have been doing this the whole time. In the original movie where you don't see him, but you just hear his voice, they did not incorporate that in this movie at all, and it really could have used that. So the look of the Candyman that they did use was honestly pretty creepy. It was a pretty creepy design, but overall the movie sucked. I don't recommend seeing it. I don't think we'll be talking about this movie in 2 weeks. It's boring, it's lame, it has zero rewatchability. I will never watch this movie again. And ultimately, I haven't looked at any other reviews yet. I'm excited to dive into the reviews and read them because I have a feeling that I'm not alone in this. I can't wait to dive into some of your reviews, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts. So I'm sorry to be so negative on this movie, but I'm not going to lie and say I like this movie when I didn't. I'm sorry. This movie sucked. So if this is your first time here, I hope I didn't make a bad impression on you. Please watch some of my other videos. This is just my personal opinion, and hopefully it's starting a conversation. I want to know your thoughts below. What did you think of the new Candyman movie? Did you think it was a boring, uninspired, dull piece of shit like I did? Or did you love it and you can't wait to buy the Blu-ray and watch it over and over and over again? Let me know in the comments down below, and I think we're done here, guys. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one. Oh yeah, the score. The score isn't anywhere to be found either. The music in the original movie is amazing, and where's the score? Where's the score? Where's the music? Anyway, fuck this movie. Bye.